Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains episode review. Before I get into the review, I just want to say there will be no reaction video, unfortunately. This would have been an amazing video for me, or episode for me to react to, but whenever these subs get delayed on Crunchyroll, I just will not have enough time in the day to get a reaction and a review out before 3 o'clock Eastern time, and I am very anal with making sure that I don't upload after 3 p.m. I've just done that my whole YouTube career, unless there's like really breaking news. I don't like to upload after 3 o'clock, and so if subs are delayed, which they were today again for like 4 or 5 hours, I just won't have enough time to do a reaction and a review and get them out on time. That's kind of a me issue, but I do apologize for that. So no reaction. Hopefully I'll be doing a reaction again next week. As long as subs are not delayed, you can always expect a reaction, but there's a lot to talk about, and I really cannot wait to hear what you guys thought of this episode, because we got great backstory for Blood Shepherd. We got a new summoning, not a new summoning method, an old summoning method finally appearing in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. It's appeared in every single anime, even 5Ds and Zexal, and that is fusion. Some people were starting to lose hope that maybe this would be the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that did not have fusion. I never really, I wasn't going to worry about it until we got to maybe like episode 100, because we're not even halfway through the show, but that will not be the case. Playmaker uses fusion in this episode, which was awesome. So we have a fusion summon, meaning fusions, rituals, and links are all a thing in this world in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. We don't know if synchros, if pendulums, if Xyz exist. Again, we did see an Xyz monster, Zodiac Hammer Kong, I believe it was, in the first episode, but we also saw a tuner in the first episode of Zexal, and that obviously didn't mean anything. We never saw synchros, so still a lot to wait for, but we only have 3 more methods to potentially see, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see if they appear. But seeing fusion in this episode was awesome, and I want to start with Blood Shepherd's backstory. The second he said, it was towards the end of this episode, like that Playmaker is putting trust in his AI, which is really stupid, we get a flashback, and it's Blood Shepherd, and it's Dojin Kenjo, that's his real name, with purple hair. He looks like a nice gentleman, and he's out to dinner with his mom. His mom wants him to go to college, but he doesn't want to go to college. He wants to work so that his mom doesn't have to worry, which I have to say is one of the most respected, selfless things that you can really do. So I give him a lot of props for that. Doesn't want to go to college, wants to take care of his mom. The dad is no longer in the picture, whether that is because of death or because he left. I don't think it was really stated. So a single mom raising a son, and now the son wants to take care of the mom. And Dojin, you have to imagine, is probably 17, 18 at this point, maybe. That's usually the age you are when you graduate high school. So to have that motivation, and the driving force is that he wants to take care of his mom so she doesn't have to worry about finances, you have my utmost 100% respect. But once that was stated, and once they're getting into a car, I knew disaster was going to happen. And the second they got in the car and the car was automated driving, I just had this nauseated feeling in my stomach, because I knew something horrible was going to happen. And like the Zaizen's parents that were in a car crash, we saw a picture of it, but we didn't see it in live time. Like Soulburner's parents, we don't know if they were in a car crash or not, but obviously something happened to them and they died. They passed away. So this is the first time that we're seeing a live scene of a tragedy about to strike. And, when you quickly hear about it, like in a flashback, like with the Zaizen's parents, it's sad, but it's definitely, I feel like, 3 times more real when you're actually in that scene and in that world, in that living, breathing world as it's happening. So I was bracing myself, because I knew this was going to be a really messed up scene, and I think sometimes this show is a little too real, and it's too real to the point that it gets a little scary. I've had so many debates with friends, and with my parents especially, about self-driving cars. I'm someone that I love the idea of self-driving cars. I love the idea of being able to go on a 2-hour drive and working on your laptop and getting 2 hours. If you have like a 2-hour commute to work, getting 4 hours a day to do stuff on your laptop, or catch up on sleep in the car, or read a newspaper in the car, or, do whatever, play a video game, even play your Nintendo Switch. Of course, the big argument to that is, how the hell are you going to sleep in a car while it's driving 70 on the park? Like, you really have that much trust in the automated driving system? Someone like my mom says she will never get behind the wheel of a self-driving car, does not trust it at all, and I've heard a lot of people say that. Myself, I think it's a great idea. Clearly, Blood Shepherd in this case was like myself, and the mom was maybe a little, not like my mom in the sense that she was completely against it, but she was a little surprised at first, and then warmed up to it. So I guess you can kind of see the point I'm making here, where I immediately drew comparisons to my own world. And self-driving cars are already on the road, and guess what, folks? They're probably going to be all over the place in 15, 20 years at max, if it takes that long. In 5-10 years, like 10-15% of the cars on the road might be self-driving cars. And that, to me, is an awesome thought, but to other people it might be a terrifying thought. And this is one of the negative things that can happen. If the AI system glitches like it did in this episode, disaster can strike. And that's exactly what happened. And it kind of gave me... Sometimes this show, again, is too real, and I love that they tackle real issues like this. Of course, you know, the world isn't going to be submerged in AI and virtual reality in probably 5 to 10 years, but automated cars, self-driving cars, that could be a thing that's all over the place in 5 to 10 years. So, again, tackling reality, and that is something that I love that Yugioh VRains has done, and they really make you think about reality and about the future of many different aspects of life. And this was one of the best scenes I thought that they executed that factor in. And so, anyway, they get into a horrible car accident because the AI glitches. Now, here's the other thing. Did the AI glitch, or is someone out to get Blood Shepherd and out to get all these people and wants to bring all these people together for some kind of master plan? If Blood Shepherd was a victim of the Lost Incident, then I would say, okay, this is way too coincidental. Zyzen's parents died, even though I guess Aoi probably wasn't part of the Lost Incident either. I just think it's coincidences. I mean, I don't want to say it's lazy writing, that it's all, you know, car accidents, but, and it's all the parents. It's interesting. I mean, I don't mind it. I think the motivation there is great. I mean, he was literally gonna do everything for his mom. His future was all based around his mom, and now his mom gets put in the hospital where she'll never walk again, and she'll probably be bedridden for the rest of her life. And we even see Kenjo right after the car accident. His face is covered in blood. His arm is bleeding, probably a little severed, honestly. Or not severed, broken. It was broken. In fact, they said, I think they said his arm will never be able to be used again, which is why he has like a robotic arm. And so he's of the belief that all AI should have a human controlling them and should be human controlled. Anyway, he ends up losing this duel to Playmaker, and his final words are, "I can't believe I lost to an AI ally," and that's how the episode ends. But before we get to the episode ending, of course, that's not how the review ends. So I thought Kenjo's backstory, again, was great. Maybe a little too real, a little too scary, but again, that's something that we as a society and as people are probably going to have to deal with, self-driving cars in 5-10 years. I mean, some people have a friend of mine their family owns a self-driving car. I've not gone, I'm not really friends with this person, but I know of this person, and when they drive the car, no one's driving it. It's an AI, it's an automated system. And so that's something that we as a society are going to have to deal with very soon. And so I love that this show is tackling something like that and showing you it's like a Black Mirror episode, a little bit, you know, not as intense as Black Mirror, but it really, really makes you think, and I love shows that do that and tie in realism, and I think VRains did that amazingly well with Blood Shepherd's backstory. So absolutely love that. That made the episode for me, and as if the episode wasn't already good enough, Playmaker goes into the data storm and summons Cyber's Clock Dragon, which the design was beautiful. This monster was magnificently designed. It got 1,000 attack points for every, I think it was Link monster in the grave. It got 1,000 attack points for every something. Playmaker had 5 of them in the grave, so it got 5,000 attack points. The thing gets 7,500 attack, destroys the general. The one issue I did have with the dueling is that I felt it was very, very repetitive. Blood Shepherd was doing the same tactics for 2 straight turns, where he was direct attacking with one of his, you know, lower generals. I know it wasn't a general, but it was a lower commander. Then the sergeant would directly attack, sacrifice itself. Then the general would attack, and when Playmaker summoned Cyber's Magician, which was awesome, Cyber's Magician did some heavy damage, but the only issue with that is then Blood Shepherd on his next turn did the same exact moves. It got a little different towards the end, but it was the same exact moves, and I guess that maybe can increase, like, the the anxiousness of, okay, is Playmaker going to be able to survive these turns? But I'd rather see maybe a little variety there. So I thought the dueling, that was maybe my one negative of the episode. I thought it was very repetitive. Of course, Blood Shepherd's not trying to put on a show, so I think from that perspective, it also kind of works with his character. He's just trying to get the job done by any means necessary. This is obviously his ace in the hole. This is his really lethal combo, and he even says to Playmaker, no one's been able to survive his attacks for this long ever again, and he should feel proud of himself. And he also does a masterful job of keeping Playmaker above 1,000 life points. When one of his monsters gets destroyed, his turn's about to end, Playmaker's at 200, he gets Playmaker's life points over 1,000 by using that monster's effect that just got destroyed to increase both of their life points by 1,000. So he was ready, and he did a very good job. It reminded me a lot of when Ghost Girl versed Playmaker in episode 15 and 16, or maybe it was 14-15, did a very good job, Blood Shepherd, of preventing Playmaker, or trying to prevent Playmaker from using his skill. But just like in that Ghost Girl duel, now in the Blood Shepherd duel, Playmaker is able to get it off, and right before he goes in, Blood Shepherd basically seals off anything a Link monster can do, and once he did that, we kind of knew that Playmaker was not going to use a Link monster. I figured he was going to use another ritual. We had just seen Soulburner use a ritual against Go, so I thought maybe this is the time for rituals to shine, but he used a fusion monster. Once he drew that spell card and showed that spell card on screen, and Soulburner went, that's, or this is, and like knew what it was, and you had the two monsters in like the circle of fusion, I knew this was a fusion spell card, and it absolutely blew me away. I was so pumped. I was like, oh my god, that's fusion, that's fusion. And when Playmaker said, I'm fusing, these monsters together, the fusion summon was one of the most beautiful fusion summons I've ever seen. The monster itself, again, Cyber's Clock Dragon, I thought was beautifully designed, magnificently designed. And so the last half of this episode, while Blood Shepherd's tactics were maybe very mundane and very repetitive, he's a bounty hunter. He's just there to get the job done. So I felt like it still kind of worked for his character. I'm not going to say I love that part, it was kind of repetitive seeing the same moves over and over, but getting the backstory we did for him, getting the fusion, the Cyber's fusion, I thought was incredible, and I absolutely loved this episode. I really, really did. And that's how it ends. The preview for 55 is interesting. It was actually mostly Ghost Girl and Blue Angel, or Blue Girl, excuse me. We had a little bit of Soulburner. I'm not even sure if we had Playmaker, but Kusanagi was narrating, and he says that even Soul Technologies can't get to the center of this area. I'd imagine Soulburner and Playmaker are going to be transported somewhere else, while Blue Angel and Ghost Girl and Blue Girl, are chilling in that cave area. It seems like Ghost Girl towards the end of the preview is complimenting Aoi, and that's why she kind of gets a big smile on her face. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully all four of them do work together in the next episode. But anyway, guys, I cannot wait to hear from you down below. What did you think of this fusion monster? What did you think of Dojin Kenjo's backstory? And what did you think of the self-driving cars? I mean, that's probably going to be a real thing in 5 to 10 years. Would you ever trust a self-driving car and get behind one and sleep at the wheel or read a book while you're driving down the Garden State Parkway if you live in New Jersey, or any parkway for that matter? Please let me know. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts about that down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the amazing support. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.